My name is Kevin Morrison, Kevinmorrison, and I'm the Greene County Mayor. Today has been a very eventful and historic day. We have seen catastrophic biblical-like flooding that has destroyed roadways and bridges and put a great number of our citizens at risk, particularly along the river. It is my provision that at about 5 o'clock this afternoon, I declared a state of emergency across Greene County. With that being said, under the provisions of state law, TCA code, that state of emergency will go into effect as we've had more catastrophic damage to strike our community. Ms. Laura White from the Greenville Water Commission will give an update on the water intake system for the Greenville Water Commission that has been significantly damaged and flooded, severely limiting our capacity to provide water to our community. So with this declaration of emergency will be coming very shortly water conservation efforts to include the closure of any non-essential water use, which would be car washes, restaurants, and others that will be decided very soon amongst this group of leaders behind us. So I will turn it over to Greene County Sheriff Wesley Holt, or Chief David Beverly, I think, is with us, and he'll give an update on safety and travel.
David Beverly, D-A-V-I-D-B-E-V-E-R-L-Y, Chief Deputy, Greene County Sheriff's Office. We're asking all the citizens, there's been a curfew put in place for 9 a.m. tonight till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is for the safety of all the citizens of Greene County and those traveling through Greene County. We've already seen in excess of 19 water rescues already involving people and vehicles that are getting trapped in these flood waters. We're just looking out for the safety of everybody. Our resources are very limited right now. We are stretched out. We're doing we're assisting other counties right now, Cocke County and other counties, with some of our manpower, and just about everybody with the Sheriff's Department is working alongside with the EMS, Rescue Squad, Fire Department personnel. So if everybody, for your safety, can stay at home, just for your safety, and stay out of the flood waters. Oh, there is an evacuation in process, I'm sorry. An evacuation in process where you may hear through loudspeakers, fire department personnel, sheriff's department personnel. If you live within 1 mile of the river downstream of the Nolichucky River Dam on the Asheville Highway, there's shelters that are in place. Letitia or Heather will speak about that for the locations. We think for your safety it'd be better to evacuate and go to the shelters, or go if you have a place to go, if you live within 1 mile of the Nolichucky Dam there on the Asheville Highway, or downriver of the dam. And I'll turn it over to whoever's next.
Maybe we can get Laura, do you want to step up? I think your information is probably of paramount importance.
I am Laura White, L-A-U-R-A-W-H-I-T-E, and I'm the superintendent at the Greenville Water Commission. This, like the mayor said, is a historic event. I've been here all my life and have never seen anything quite like this. Our intake structure today was compromised. About 2 hours ago, it's completely underwater. So we are going to have to implement the measures that are at the utmost of our plan, of our emergency plan, which is the level 5 of our emergency plan, which entails to end all use of any unnecessary water, which includes restaurants, car washes, that type of thing. And we would urge our citizens to conserve as much as they can. We have a reservoir at our plant which supplies about a 2 to 3 days supply of water, but we do also feed 5 utility districts in this county. So we basically feed all of Greene County. And right now we do have just about a 2-day supply. So we're urging all of our citizens to conserve in any way that they can. Thank you.
Heather?
I'm Heather Sipe, HeaTherSipe, and I'm the Emergency Management Director for Greene County. I'm going to discuss shelters that we currently have open. We are in the process of trying to get some others open just because we have so much devastation across the county. So we know we're going to have to open up multiple shelters for people who are having to evacuate, whether it's the river or streams or creeks that are going up and things like that. So I'll just go over the two that we have open currently. Asbury Church, that's in the city of Greenville at 201 South Main Street. Go to the back of the church, it will be in the fellowship hall, and that's being run by the Red Cross and also emergency management volunteers. There will be one that's opened up at 8:30 p.m. It'll be at the St. James Community Center at 3220 St. James Road in Greenville, and that one will be open as well. If we open any others, that will be put out information to the media. Just want to say, we've been kind of contemplating this disaster since the beginning of the week. We were dealing with the cold front that was dropping a lot of rain that stalled out in our community. And then now we've got the remnants of Helene. Very pertinent, and like I said, we've been telling the community, it's always in preparedness and awareness that you have the supplies that you need for a 3 to 5 day period to take care of yourselves. That's why we stress this every day, 365 days a year, because when disasters like this happen, it's too late to get those supplies stored up. We're doing everything to save lives, save property, to take care of our community, but we need their assistance too to make them to be able to take care of themselves. So just be safe, make wise decisions, and work with us, and we'll get through this together. Thank you.
Chief Shipley?
Alan Shipley, ALAN SHIPLEY, Greenville Fire Chief. We'd just like to reach out to our community and just tell everybody to take care of your neighbor. If you think that they are close to the river right there, pick up the phone, make a call, make sure they're aware of all this that's going on around them. Conserving water, it's something that we all can do. I know as far as fire operations, we've already put in place that we will be drafting, so we're utilizing some sites inside the city. We're also utilizing the county's tankers, volunteer departments, so we'll be utilizing those if there is a fire. We have crews that are out right now with the other responders they're assisting with some of the rescues, and just remember the danger of this water. It doesn't take but just a little bit to sweep your feet out, and this water is running so fast. It doesn't take much at all. It's rising really fast, so just be conscious and take care of everybody. Thank you.
Todd?
Todd Smith, TODD SMITH, Greenville City Manager. We're asking for unusual measures because this is an unusual event. Mayor Morrison described it perfectly. It's a biblical event that we don't usually see. What we're asking in these measures, we seem to take for granted sometimes that we have clear roads, clean water, and a safe environment. Sometimes that's not always the case, and we're at an event right now where that is not always the case. So we're asking for the community to help us in undertaking some of these unusual measures, because enacting these measures not only helps yourself, you're helping your neighbor. And that's what we're asking the community to do, is for our better angels to come out so that we can not only take care of us, but we're taking care of our neighbor. And we will get through this. This is an event that Greenville and Greene County community will come together, and we will help each other, and we will get through it. We're asking for some unusual measures to incorporate today so that we can get through it as a community, and we will. Thank you.
I guess for our media partners, do you have any questions of any member?
Can you speak to the status of the bridges in Greene County, each of the bridges in Greene County?
Briefly, what I know, and the Sheriff's Department may be able to give a more accurate update. Of course, the 107 Kinzer Memorial Bridge has collapsed. That took with it a major supply line of our water system, particularly to the Chuckey Utility District. I know that downstream bridges, Jones Bridge, Bird's Bridge, and even Allen's Bridge are inundated with water and unpassable. TDOT just about an hour ago closed the the Asheville Highway Bridge, the State Route 70 bridge, with the remaining bridge of the Newport Highway currently remaining open at this time. So we don't know exactly what the status of that might be or develop in the very near future.
Yeah, and
Chief, you
Rainbow
might wanna add to
Bridge
that.
on the 107 cutoff has been closed as well. The only bridge open in Greene County right now is Love Bridge on the Newport Highway, State Route 321. And some of these bridges you can't even see right now. So that's why we're really expressing to everyone to stay home. Don't go out. It's dark outside right now. You're not going to be able to see anything. I know it's a temptation for a lot of people, but it's also causing a lot of resources, and it's causing water rescues because they think they can drive through flooded roadways and then the road may not be there, especially when you can't see it below you. So then you're being swept through the current. And this current is extremely strong. I've been around the river my whole life, and this is the fastest I've ever seen this water moving. So as far as the bridges go, the only one open right now is Love Bridge on State Route 321 on Newport Highway.
Are there any other roads at the time that may be shut down due to fallen trees or power lines that we know of?
There's a lot of power lines down right now, and there's a lot of roads that are being cleaned up by the state and county highway departments with trees across them. With the weather that we've experienced here in the past couple of weeks, it's caused a lot of trees to, especially dead trees, to break off on the road, and then trees uprooting and falling across the road. And that's another reason why we're encouraging people just to stay home.
And I could talk about the city of Greeneville. To our knowledge, we understand that all the roads in the city of Greeneville are open. They are clear. We had several that were burdened with downed trees and limbs this afternoon and today. But to the best of our knowledge, they're all open. Even with that said, though, please don't venture out on the roads. There is really no benefit and advantage for folks to be out on the roads, even though that they are clear. We think they're clear. There's just no advantage to it.
You know, this is, as you said, this is an unprecedented situation, and even with all the prep that people could have had prior to this, you know, some people may still find themselves in need of something, you know, and we're telling them to stay home. Is there, you know, a place, even, you know, is there a way for if somebody says, oh, I don't have access to this, especially with, you know, issues with water, you know, if somebody's like, if I could get a couple bottles of water, is there a resource for those people?
Yeah, we're working to get those resources in that our community's going to need, obviously. As emergency management director, I go through TEMA to get those resources in. And we're already making leaps and bounds with that and getting donations in. And as far as water being set up or handed out, it'll be established a water pod, as we call it, a point of distribution. And when we get that established and set up, we'll get information out to the community about where they can pick up that water. But like I said, we're mid-disaster right now, so we kind of have to let the chaos settle just a little bit to get everything in order. Right now, like I said, our life safety, property, things like that, those things take top priority, but we are working to get those measures, to get those resources. We will be putting numbers out that people can call in. If they have needs, we'll try to address those needs the best we can. Obviously, we've got 70,000 plus people in this community, in this town, in this county. So that's a lot of people to kind of take care of. But like I said, we're doing the best we can. A lot of us have been up since early morning hours of this morning, and we're still going, and we're still going to be going and still going. A lot of you remember back in 2011 we had the tornadoes. I mean, we had 4.5 months of recovery. This is going to be a high impact recovery as well. And just please be patient with us, and we're doing everything we can do to take care of our community members.
Do you have any idea of how many people have been affected so far?
That number is probably going to be forthcoming. Like I said, 70,000 plus people in our community, and all of us are going to be affected in some way. Every one of us up here are affected in some way. We all have families. We're going to be affected. You know, but we have to do what we can do in the time frame that we can do it and get the resources in. We just ask the community to be patient with us, work with us, and like Todd said, we all have to be, you know, a big team together to kind of do what we need to do. But we'll get it done and we'll get those resources in.
With the curfew in effect, would this also be, I guess, assumed for businesses as well, just to give people less of an incentive to want to be out?
Yeah, the curfew was instituted by myself and Sheriff Holt, basically to limit unnecessary travel and rubbernecking type situations as the floodwaters are passing through our community. It's not done to be punitive in any measure. We're asking people, if it's unnecessary, then help us help you. Stay off the roadways. We don't want to have to attend, for instance, to unnecessary sort of situations where our first responders, who are already stressed to the max, have to respond to something that was absolutely unnecessary. So if you're traveling to and from work, if you have an emergency, if your duty on the roadway calls that it has to be done, then certainly our law enforcement understands, and we understand. We've got to travel back and forth to get our work done as well. So we're just asking to help us, or to help you, help us, and if we can all do that and pull together, and as Manager Smith said, to appeal to the better angels of our nature, then we're going to get through this. We've been through tough stuff before, and we're going to persevere through this as well.
What are some of the water conservation efforts you would suggest, Laura, and what things should people not do?
Well, like I said, as far as that goes, we are going to have to institute our plan, our emergency plan, where restaurants, unfortunately, we'll have to close those, and car washes, any unnecessary water usage. We would like to also tell people, you know, just because we're instituting these measures, that doesn't mean that you need to go and fill up your bathtubs and everything that you can put water in your house, because that will cause a problem. So if you can just, you know, bear with us, we're trying our best. We're trying to get some emergency pumps in from some suppliers right now, but until the river recedes, we don't have that opportunity to do that. So
is this just the intake plant? This is not the filtration or the cleaning plant? This is just where the water is brought in?
This is just the intake.
Is that a little bit easier thing to deal with than if it had been where you clean and process and purify the water?
Well, you have to have the intake to supply the water.
Right.
So it's really, one is just as important as the other. Without the intake, you don't have the ability to treat it because you don't have the supply. So right now our intake is pretty much underwater. It's in the river. So we're going to have to deal with that and some emergency measures to get that back up and running. So it's going to take a concerted effort, I'm sure, on our part and the communities.
Ron, I would add to Laura's comments that as the water recedes, travel will still have to be limited, because these bridges that are currently underwater, if any survive, will have to be inspected thoroughly to make sure that the roadways are passable and that the bridges can sustain the loads that they're supposed to carry. So there may be damage, obviously, that's going on underwater right now that we can't see, that may limit our travel, even if the bridges look like they did prior to this event.
The curfew, while it's in effect for tonight, we don't know what's coming tomorrow. With the light of day, the water is still expected to rise and crest. This is something that could extend for another day or two if needed. It'll just be decided on an as-needed basis. Is that correct?
I think this whole panel up here expects that to be the case, yes.
Okay.
To any of your knowledge, has anything like this ever happened in Greene County to this extent, flooding-wise?
When I was a kid in 1977, we had a very similar event that wiped out several bridges along the river. They were built back, obviously bigger and better, and now those bridges that were built back bigger and better are now gone. So to answer your question specifically, no. We've not seen anything like this, and I certainly hope that we never see anything like this again. But we're going to go through a significant rebuilding process, but we'll get through it.
TVA has been brought in. They have discussed the dam and what is their thoughts on the dam? A lot of people are curious about that.
Heather, you want to address that?
Yes, we meet annually with TVA, and they bring a binder that we sit down and we go through, and it's specifically based on dam failure. We have maps and everything about if that failed, our timing and things like that. My biggest question today wasn't, I'd even asked them before, is the flow of the water. Because obviously when we've seen these crests today, I mean, yesterday they were telling us that the river Noachaki was going to crest at 15.5 feet. All of a sudden today we're almost at 20 feet. So obviously things change in that flow of the water. And a general flood, you'll see water flow through Embryville because that's the gauge that we go by. And generally it takes 12 hours to come through Greene County. This water is so volatile, so strong, that it coming from Embryville is taking less than 4 hours. I mean, that's a crazy kind of time frame. TVA, we've got a representative here that's at the dam who's making sure that things are as they should be at the dam, and will contact me directly if they see any reason why that dam would be compromised. They're bringing in extra officials with TVA. They will be flying in. We've got LZ set up here at our EMS substation behind us, and they will be monitoring that TVA dam.
As far as community outreach, if somebody wants to help cleanups, help anything like that, wants to volunteer, is there a program that'll be set up for that, or are there some ideas, or is that kind of down the road?
Yeah, that's kind of, like I said, we're kind of in chaos and we're kind of in disaster mode, so that's kind of your afterthoughts as we go down. And we'll be putting out information because you have people, I've already had people call me today. How can I donate? How can I help? How can I volunteer? I've got chainsaws. I can help clean roads. We get that with every disaster, and it's amazing. We have an amazing community that wants to come forth and help us, but we've got to get through that chaos and that disaster process first, and then we'll go into the recovery process. And that's when that information will be put out for volunteers and everything they can do to help our community get back to what it needs to be.
Is there any kind of outlook for county schools next week, for any kind of schedules, anything like that?
Well, with this being Friday and this developing sort of rather quickly, we've not had any discussions with the Greene County school systems, but obviously with the bridges compromised and a significant portion of our county being, south of the river, that will definitely be a consideration throughout the weekend to make an announcement for Monday morning.
And I think Laura can address that as well, as far as the water side.
Also, if since we supply the whole county with water, if the water is compromised, then I'm sure that schools will probably be compromised as well. So we'll have to look at that towards the first of the week.
Is there any part of the county kind of dealing with power outages aside from obviously anything near the Noachaki?
Yeah, and the latest information I have, which is not, it's a couple hours old, but we had about 5,300 customers of the Greenville Energy Authority without power. That number may be updated since I last talked with the president here a couple hours ago, but at the time it was about 5,300 customers without power.